All right, what's up, everyone? Thanks for being here. Either here during the live, JDev, I saw you here in the chat, or anyone here in the future watching the VOD back. Appreciate you being here. Happy Sunday, everybody. Whether you celebrate Easter, 420, or whatever you indulge in, happy to have you here, and hope you're having a great weekend overall. I know yesterday I played a ton of board games, which was pretty. My head was pretty much like done by the end of it by playing that many games, but it was a good time doing that. So hope everyone's had a strong weekend across the board. And yeah, just figured I'd hop in and play some more Slay the Spire. Hopefully the video resolution's okay. I know every time I've done the YouTube live, I get this error mentioning my resolution may be off. I'm assuming the issue is my upload speeds aren't the greatest, so that's probably what it's telling me. It's saying that like, hey, your upload speeds aren't the highest, so that may limit the resolution you can have. So probably will be okay. But if there's any issues, let me know, because it seems like YouTube's at least telling me there may be a problem with it. So, but it seemed like the last couple live streams worked well for the most part. So, I also switched my camera location. Hopefully this one works well. I made it a little bit larger as well. So if there's any issues with that, let me know. But I figured playing Slay the Spire specifically, this location will probably be a little better. I'll have to see when we get in the game to see if there's any issues. Maybe I'll drag it down to see if I'm blocking some stuff, but I feel like this part of the screen overall is less obtrusive compared to some other locations. So, but yeah, just figured have a pretty casual Sunday, play some more Slay the Spire. I've played a little bit. Let me boot the game up here as well. Played a little bit offline since last time, just mainly trying to get some of the achievements. So I've mentioned this before, but I play the game on console, so I got all the trophies on that. But I figured on Steam, let's try to knock out some of these achievements. And because of that, I was like, hey, I'll try to do some of those. I think the big stuff I'll probably need to spend more time doing is obviously the Ascensions, which you don't have to do that with every character. So if you're trying to get all the achievements in this game and you're trying to do the Ascension levels you see at the bottom here, you only have to get one character to level 20, which, if I'm being honest, the easy one to do with is the Watcher. So just a heads up, if you're trying to get achievements, that's my recommendation. But I'll probably across the board get everybody to 20 at some point. So just going to kind of casually go up and progress with them. Obviously, as you can see, I played a little bit more offline with the Silent, probably getting some of the achievements, getting them up to level 5. But yeah, I figure we'll just run through this. If anyone wants to talk about any other topics as we're playing this, happy to do that as always, whether it's, you know, any varieties of pop culture topics. I know as far as content on the channel, I just posted my him reaction trailer. Let me know if you guys are into that kind of format, because I prefer doing the play the trailer, react to it live, because you kind of get my first impressions. And to be honest, it's a little bit easier to edit and all that stuff. So that's my preference. However, YouTube copyright systems feel like they're a little bit aggressive a lot of times when you're doing those reaction videos, and I would like to stay in their good graces. So because of that, I kind of adopted this hybrid model where I'll watch the trailer first on my own, which you don't get my first reaction. That's kind of the downside. But then after watching it, I will get screenshots from it and kind of give my thoughts on parts of the trailer. So it makes it a little bit easier to deal with copyright. So hopefully that format you guys enjoy. If not, let me know and I'll try to find some other way. I know previously when I did the reaction with the trailers, if I got some issue with it, I would like re-upload the video entirely, because I spent time on doing that already, and try to put as many filters over the video and as many different sounds to kind of make it so the copyright issue wouldn't be an issue. But it feels like that's not necessarily as, you know, enjoyable in my opinion to watch. I feel like I'd rather run through the photos, because that's kind of the only option I have. If you're not seeing the video as I'm watching it, is there really even a point to have a live reaction? Not sure there. So by the way, have that I just posted, and we'll do a episode 2 of The Last of Us short as well. Not sure if I'll post that tonight or the exact timing on that, but we'll probably wind up watching it tonight, and maybe I'll post it tonight, either that or tomorrow. And then I plan to see Sinners on Tuesday. So assuming everything goes good with that, I will look to do a review for that as well. I've seen a lot of good feedback on that movie, so hoping to see good things with it. So we'll have to see how that turns out. But that's kind of some upcoming items here on the channel. So I just finished watching Wolfman. How was it? That was the one with what's it? Why am I blanking on his name? Adam from Saw. I don't know, I'm blanking on his name, but he directed that, right? I heard kind of mixed thoughts on how that movie was. Maybe at some point I'll check it out. I like the Universal monsters overall. I don't know if I really like them in any movies. I like the idea of them. A lot of those are obviously older movies at this point in time, so they're probably harder to digest. But having remakes to that stuff is awesome to have. Yes, he directs it. Yeah. Lee Winnell. That's what I just thought of. Lee Winnell. He's a pretty solid director. So I saw a lot of people ripping on that movie, which was kind of surprising because I feel like after Saw, a lot of people compare him to James Wan. And I think a lot of people feel like he's really taken the mantle from there and really become a prominent director in his own right. So I thought like Upgrade was okay. I'm trying to think what else he may have done. Yeah, but I feel like he's a pretty strong director, and I saw mixed reviews on The Wolfman, so hopefully... Did you enjoy it, I guess? Half of it was really boring, the other half was interesting. It's fair. That's kind of the vibe I got, was that it didn't necessarily live up to expectations, unfortunately. But probably at some point on streaming I'll check it out. I just figured at this point in time, didn't have a strong interest in watching it per se. But probably down the road I'll wind up checking it out because I like the idea of Wolfman, and obviously Lee Winnell, as I mentioned, I enjoy. So glad you at least kind of liked it, but it sounds like maybe it could have done a little bit better in some areas. How was the, I guess, wolf design? I feel like we have Wolfman. That's kind of the big thing I presume is probably graded harshly or favorably as far as what did the wolf look like. Hey, my chunky Jordy, thanks for joining. Appreciate you being in the chat. As I was telling JDev, running through Slay the Spire as far as the actual content of gameplay here, but happy to talk about any topics you're interested in when it relates to pop culture, whether it's movies like JDev's talking about Wolfman here or anything else, obviously pop culture related, open to chatting about too. So, and if you're into Slay the Spire, that's awesome too. Initially, I was ready to give it a 1 out of 5, but the third act improves. Okay, that's good at least. I feel like a lot of times when there's harsh criticism I have for movies, it's because they end pretty poorly. But if it starts rough and ends strongly, that's a good sign at least. I saw a picture and I love Dexter. Awesome. Yeah, JDev in the chat is me and him both love Dexter. I've done a review of all of the original Sin episodes. I've done the ranking for the season. Looking forward to Dexter Resurrection coming up as well, so that should be exciting. I'm happy to chat all things Dexter, honestly. That's one of my favorite shows. JDev as well here in the chat, so definitely up for talking more Dexter stuff. The Dexter fanatics in the house, yep. You come to the right place as far as just hanging out and talking about Dexter for sure. Wolfman's on Peacock right now. That's one of the few services I don't have actively. Peacock, it feels like they're kind of isolated with their streaming service. So a lot of the stuff that goes there directly, like a lot of, I guess, NBC properties probably, I don't necessarily see right away. Hopefully it comes to other stuff. That's how I found you. Yeah, awesome to see that. I'm kind of just doing Slay the Spire as far as a thing to be doing while we're chatting, but I'm definitely pumped to talk anything about Dexter. How did you think Original Sin was, or what are your thoughts on Resurrection, or any other things revolved around Dexter? Happy to chat about. When it comes to this, we're going to just put it on Ascension 1, make it a little more difficult. And I'm probably going to try for one of the achievements that I don't have, which is using a certain card on a certain boss. But the challenge with that one is getting the boss and the card, obviously. But we'll probably pick it up if we find it, and hopefully we get the boss. If we don't, that's all right, too. I only have Peacock to watch WrestleMania, which is tonight, so timing worked out. That makes sense. I feel like a lot of times my mindset is it kind of makes sense as a absorber of content to bounce around, because unless there's something that you need to actively be seeing, like you can subscribe to, I'm going to make an example up. You can subscribe to Netflix when Stranger Things comes out. And then when, I don't know, for example, to your point, WrestleMania comes around the corner, you can go, hey, I'm jump over to Peacock. So I'm kind of a supporter of go where you feel like there's something there for you at that moment, and then you don't need to necessarily have it year round, unless, I guess if you want to have maybe one service year round because it gives you something to watch, that's reasonable. But I'm definitely a supporter of choosing certain content providers and having short stints with them, getting pretty much everything out of it, and then bouncing to another one because they've diversified so much. I feel like we had cable, then we just separated, and then we're kind of going back to being cable at some point, I would imagine. I've only seen Original Sin episode 1 as I don't stream, so waiting for physical media. Okay. I won't give any spoilers then. I'm assuming you're a fan of the original series. And I guess what were your thoughts on New Blood? I know JDev and I have talked a little bit about my thoughts there. I prefer the original series over New Blood, especially the ending of New Blood, that is. And I'm looking forward to Resurrection, though, based off of, having more Dexter opportunities. Definitely recommend checking out Original Sin, though. I will say, obviously, don't jump into my episode reviews if you haven't watched it, but I would say if you're a Dexter fan, definitely worth watching. If you weren't a Dexter fan, I could see, it being okay. But they do a lot of, references to things that you'll get and you'll enjoy, so I would say check out Original Sin. It sounds like you're waiting for physical media. When it comes to that at some point, definitely worth checking out. All right, let me pick one of these real quick. I think we'll just take the health one. All right, I pre-ordered the Original Sin Season 1. I know everything about Original Sin. New Blood was okay. Okay. That's awesome, JDev. I don't know if I'll necessarily grab it on physical, but definitely worth grabbing, I feel like, in some capacity as far as absorbing and watching it. And I know everything about Original Sin. Okay, so you've been spoiled a little bit on Original Sin then. I mean, we kind of... Anytime you're doing a prequel, you know where we end up, so you're not like... I mean, you're like, Dexter can't die in the prequel unless they want to give him, another death at this point, but... That's kind of the issue I typically have with prequels, is, we know the destination, so how do you make the journey worthwhile? And I thought they did a pretty good job with it, though. We will start over here so we get more options. New Blood was okay. Yeah, since you watched it, I feel like I can chat about it, but New Blood, I liked it for the most part. Honestly, episode 9 was awesome. When him and Harrison kind of, got together, when they were, bonding and stuff like that. And then episode 10, especially the end of episode 10, I'm like, okay, a lot of the flaws the series had, with Angela just knowing everything through Google, or the M99 ketamine switch, or just a lot of the smaller things that Dexter does, where you're like, he wouldn't do that, but okay, maybe he's rusty. A lot of the critiques kind of blew up a little bit bigger because they didn't stick the landing. So it's like, okay, that a lot of the changes they made, or choices they made, weren't as enjoyable after seeing the outcome that we got, in my opinion. New Blood can go F itself due to killing Adam Gale. Yeah, that, I don't agree with that decision either. Whether or not you like Hannah, I feel like can be debated depending on fanhood. But the approach to handling her, how they handled her, was not, in my opinion, a good choice overall. Do we want any of these? I mean, at this point, we don't have any strength, but heavy blood I typically like. We'll grab it. I have all Dexter series apart from Original Sin. Nice. Once again, in the right place. I know JDev's a big physical media fan as well, so it's definitely... I've talked about this before. I feel like I like the idea of physical media. The only thing I don't like is how it can get aged out over time. I think of VHS or DVDs where it's I don't think I really have any VHSs anymore, but I have a lot of DVDs and had VHSs, and as technology progresses, and I'm like, well, I can't watch it unless I keep a VCR or DVD player, or just something that works with it. But I like the idea of having a physical copy of something just to kind of be able to always have, because if you get something digitally, they could pretty much pull that whenever they want. So I like the idea of physical, but I think it's hard for me these days to go all in on some stuff. As much as like back in the day in high school, I was like grabbing so many DVDs, and that's probably why I have like the collection I have today. But I haven't bought a physical media product probably in a long time. If I did today, it would probably be some maybe like collector's edition or some version that has some like importance to it beyond just the actual video. But yeah, I'm trying to think of the last thing I would have bought physically. I don't know. I've reviewed every Jada, me and him both are. He has a lot more stuff on Dexter when it comes to the original series, so definitely check him out if you're interested in that too. Yeah, I don't know how many DVDs I have. I probably don't have 1,500 because as I mentioned, I stopped at some point, but I would assume maybe in the, I don't know, a few hundreds, like 300 to 400 maybe. I'm kind of just guessing that honestly, but maybe a little more than that. Who knows? But that's as I said, I like the idea, and that was me with video games since we're playing Slay the Spire 2. I, for the longest time, was like only physical because also you can then resell it after you play it if you're done with it, which you can't do with the digital game. But then at some point I kind of switched. I think sometimes sales are a little bit better digitally too, so that kind of swayed me. Obviously, if you're playing on PC, it's pretty much all digital at this point. But I think over time, and also I feel like this sounds like the laziest like new generation comment, but there's just something also about just being able to like hit play and not have to like go get a DVD and like put it in your player. That while sounds like super lazy, I feel like we're so ingrained at this point just to be able to access anything on like any device. Like you can watch something on your phone, which makes it a little bit harder to like then go back and do the routine of doing that. I mean, I feel like that's like the debate with physical media. Like, if you could bring Blockbuster back, would you want to? I think it would be cool still to go through and like browse some of their stuff. Would I be renting a lot? Probably not. But I think the idea of having those physical stores is still fun as a concept. Do we want to upgrade our fight in Elite? Are we going to do the heart too? I probably don't have a build that would be good against him, but we'll fight this Elite, see where it goes. Used to have more, but they were stolen. That sucks, man. I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully not a whole lot of ones that you really enjoyed, at least compared to maybe what you still have today, but sometimes people can be super cruel stealing stuff like that. This guy could be a problem. But that's awesome that you still have that many afterwards too. I have a combination of DVDs, Blu-rays, and 4Ks. Yeah, see, that's kind of the other thing too. Like, so I think I was out of the game by the time I have some Blu-rays, but I think I was definitely out of the game by the time 4K came around. I also did not. I think this monitor is technically 4K, but I didn't have like a 4K TV or player anyway, so like buying 4K didn't make a whole lot of sense for me. We'll hit you with that and take some damage. But that's kind of an example of we went from DVD to Blu-ray to 4K, and we're obviously still in 4K at this point. Yeah, I'm taking a lot of damage this fight. But that just kind of shows the evolution of over time. And I think 4K players still play like DVDs, so there's not like as big of an issue, but just as technology advances, stuff becomes outdated super quickly. We finish this guy off. What do we got coming up? I may be toast here. I think we have to go for lethal next turn and hope that we have it. Especially if you include TV show seasons. I don't have a lot of TV stuff that I collected back in the day. Like, I'm trying to think of what TV shows I bought physically. I still have them over there. The Dragon Ball Z orange bricks that came out back in the day that a lot of people criticized, but I thought they were fine for the time. Grab flex. And but as far as that, like, I don't think I bought too many TV shows beyond that, really. I feel like most stuff I was just be like watching digitally or watching it as it aired. Blockbuster's still around. Like the one in Alaska, is that what you're talking about? I think there's one somewhere up north, like in Alaska, I think, right? I want to buy that, but then can I afford? Ooh, I can. Which one of these relics do I want to buy? We'll go with you, and we're pretty much broke now. I had about 30 stolen in 2002. Yeah, I sold a lot to a bookstore a few years ago, and I had a whole issue with them that like they didn't actually pay out the amount of them, and it was a whole ordeal. But so I probably don't have all of the ones I had either as well. All my VHS, yeah. So like VHS, like do you, Jordy, do you have like a VCR to still watch it? And the other thing is, you have to have a TV that takes a VCR. So even like a DVD player, like my wife has an old DVD player that has like the 3 prongs, like the red, the yellow, the white, and newer TVs like HDMI is what you have available. So you have to make sure that your actual like disc or play or tape or whatever, and the player and the TV all like sync with one another. So you have to have like an old TV and a VCR and a VHS. So it's fun to do that stuff and still watch it. But it's just hard to like enjoy it as much, I would say, just because unfortunately there's advancements, which is a good thing, but that leads to stuff becoming not as digestible or like usable in the future. We're gonna go this way to heal because we kind of need to now. I still have about 100 VHS tapes collecting dust. And yeah, that's the thing. It's like I like the idea of that, but then they're kind of just shelf warmers. Or I mean, sometimes they can be cool to have on your shelf still because it's kind of like a to give a Slay the Spire term, like a relic or like something just to have. Like obviously I have stuff in the background like on display, so you can do that with the VHS, but that's obviously not the point of having one. So in some ways it feels like it's not actually as functional or usable as time progresses. I have about 400 seasons of TV. Wow, that is impressive, JDev. That is impressive. I don't even know if I've watched 400. Oh, I guess 400 seasons. So we're saying if there's one show, there could be like 10 seasons in a show. I was gonna say I don't think I've watched 400 shows at this point, but we'll take another flex. It's in Oregon. Yeah, I figured it was. I thought it was somewhere up north. How well did they do? Do you know? I've seen like some videos of people going in and stuff. I think there's some other video stores around. Like, what are the other ones? There's like Hollywood Video or like Family Video. I think one was called. I think some of those have stuck around, but I think that they're continuing to kind of like even stuff like GameStop is dying off, or Best Buy, or there was obviously Circuit City back in the day. VHS should hook up to newer TVs via S-Video. Okay. Should is in like you wish they did, or like should is in like that is a capability that if you have the right stuff you could do. I know there's probably more modern like adapters and stuff that you can make stuff functional. Like I'm thinking of back in the day when I was wanting to hook my laptop up to my TV, I had to buy like an adapter because Apple was obnoxious with their versions of everything. So there's definitely probably adapters or different things that you can use to still consume some of that older stuff. You just have to find like kind of the workaround. I could easily start my own rental store. I feel like when I was a kid, I thought about doing that because we did have a good amount of movies. Like I had a friend who was like wanting to watch some of them. I'm like, all right, you can rent it out from my store type of thing. But I feel like that'd be kind of fun, honestly. Like any of that kind of media type stuff would be cool to have as far as a storefront. I don't know how sustainable it is, but like whether it's movies or games or board games or anything like that, I feel like those kind of small like mom and pop shops are kind of cool to go to and support, but I can't imagine they do like super well financially. New TVs still have an S video. At least my new 4K still do. Okay. Interesting. Well, I guess that's an option. You're saying like the VCR could then be hooked up to a new 4K TV still. Because I think like I'm thinking of my old consoles, even like the N64 uses the little 3 prongs, or back in the day the original Nintendo. I don't know if I have it still, but I have the game still. That one had like the little cable antenna that I think you plugged in the back of the TV. We'll risk fighting the elite. This one's a little tough. Let's see. I have loads of TV series that take up half a wall. I still have a VHS player, but my VHS collection was stolen. I'm sorry, Jordy. That's people can, as I said, people can be the worst. Like, I don't know. I don't get it all the time, but sorry that it happened to you. Hopefully, as I said, hopefully you still have some of the ones you enjoy that you are able to still have a good time with. But that's awesome that you have like a collection that massive taking up half a wall. Kind of want to hit you with that, but then I have to block. I think my DVDs right now are just like on the floor in another room because I wanted to buy a piece of furniture to put them on, but have not put the time into doing it. Some VCRs have an S video. Okay. Take a little damage. And I guess maybe if you're mindful about buying certain pieces of technology that do allow older stuff to work, then you could be okay in that situation. I don't think we're doing a block build. I think we're doing more of a strength build now, so we'll probably skip these. I don't think I have anything that would play a VHS right now. I definitely don't have a VCR. I think the only thing that may, but I don't think so. A lot of times those old DVD players had like that and a VHS player, but I don't think the one I have does that. We'll remove a card. What's the pronunciation of your channel? My channel? Are you asking JDev? If we heal here, he's gonna hit us for more, but if we don't, then we're kind of really low health. We can use that though, so maybe we upgrade. Yep. So it's Brad HOC talk. So kind of rhyming with the second and third word, but the idea was obviously my name being Brad, and I try to do a play on words with like ad hoc, like an ad hoc meeting where you're just like coming up with the topic to talk about and doing so. So it's kind of a play on words with an ad hoc talk or ad hoc conversation with my name thrown in there. I wasn't really sure what to go with, but that's kind of where I landed because I figured if I went more specific, as far as like subject matter for a channel title, then I may limit myself on topics to cover in the future. So I kind of just went. I also wanted to kind of use my name, so if I was talking with people in chat or anything like this, I could just not have to be like called like a pen name. And I figured it'd be easier just to throw it in the channel, kind of like that. Okay, I've been saying it right. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, I wasn't sure what to roll with to start, but I kind of figured, hey, it's kind of a funny. I like little play on words type stuff like that. I just inherited my brother's DVDs, so need more stands. Everything's in bags, clogging up and landing. Yeah, I can relate to that. Just A lot of times you like have stuff and you're like, I have a plan for where you're gonna go. You're gonna go on some piece of furniture, but I don't have it now. I am gonna die here. We're okay. Should we? Let's weaken him too. But I can relate to that where it's like, I don't know what to do with you now. Like, kind of going on a total tangent, but I've kind of backed off recently a little bit, but I was playing a trading card game for quite a while, and I have like all the cards that I gathered from that still on the side here, and this may be it for me. Yeah, we're dead after this one. We'll have to give it another restart, but I can relate to having like stuff just somewhere. You're like, I don't want to get rid of you, but you don't have a place necessarily for me to make sense to put you right now. All right, we'll give it another try with the Ironclad. Trying to get that feed card. I used to call my JDev Entertainment Network. Okay. That makes sense. I had done very briefly like a YouTube channel way back in the day, and I think I had like entertainment in my title too, just because it felt like it was like both like fun but also like semi-professional sounding. These are all once again kind of bad choices. We'll take you. What made you make the switch, JDev? Was it just because you felt like it was like a shorter and more abbreviated, simpler to just digest name, I assume? I was also given 500 DVDs for Xmas and don't know what to do with them. Yeah, that's the thing too. When I mentioned I previously had gone to get rid of a bunch at a local store, it felt like they were like paying super cheap for selling them to them, because they were like, nobody watches DVDs anymore. This is kind of useless media. Like, it sounded like a lot of people, like a lot of parents especially, were like taking them from their attic and just going and just getting rid of them. So I think a lot of people are kind of doing, I don't know how you necessarily got all of yours. It sounds like you said from your brother. I think a lot of people are like just offloading them, because the point I made where it's just like, this isn't something I can really consume, or even if I could, I don't really want to, because it's not as like instantaneous as we have today. JDev TV sounds cooler. That's fair. I think it does kind of like ring a little better as far as like a concise go-to name. I'll grab you. I debated using, I obviously, like, growing up, you have like, I don't know, like going really far back, like instant message names, or like if I'm talking games as well, like your gamer tag or stuff like that. I debated doing something more like that too, but I was like, I'll pivot and do something more unique that I haven't done in the past as far as a channel name. You've had, JDev, your channel for what'd you say, 4 years now, is it? I think what you mentioned the other day. I'll grab you. Yeah, we'll face the elite, why not? I mentioned I had that other first video was in 2018. Okay, so this year being like 7 years, well, then actually that's definitely quite a while. Which would I prefer to do here? Maybe hit you with that. Yeah, as I mentioned, I had like a different channel that I was planning. I was kind of not sure exactly the direction I wanted to go with it, but I had one that had more like game stuff way back in the day. Like, when was that? Whenever the Friday the 13th video game came out, because I remember my first video was like reviewing that game. Should we block a little bit here? Maybe block one, attack one. But that was like one of the videos I remember doing, was covering that Friday the 13th video game, which is now been canned, unfortunately. Unless you're on, I think PlayStation, if you like put in certain stuff, you can still play it, but the servers for the game were taken down. Which I think that was like mid 2010s. I want to say like 2015, 16 or so. I didn't post it much until late 2019. That's fair. Yeah, I don't know the exact date, but I'm around a year from when I started my channel now. And when I first started, I just posted a few videos, but I've definitely, over the last, like, I don't know, since December-ish maybe, or like late last year, Q4 last year, taking it a little bit more seriously as far as trying to stick with it. I'm happy getting films back. Just don't have anything to put them on for easy access. I don't actually stream. Just don't stream like you don't watch like streaming content. That's fair. I definitely could see, as I said, I don't think it makes sense to do like, I have a lot of people, which I guess if you want to do it, go for it. But I don't personally think it makes sense to do like stream to like, I don't know, 6 different services necessarily at one time, unless maybe you're doing like review stuff like this, like I try to do on this channel. But I think the bouncing around strategy for streaming is the one I personally would recommend, just because you don't need to watch everything all the time. Like, it only takes like a month to like go through like Netflix's catalog, for example. Unless they come out with something new, then at that point you kind of go back to it. I only stream to watch new episodes of TV I love. Okay, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the thing, is that's where to do it nowadays. Like, there's not as much, like back in the day, it was like turn on cable TV, or I guess HBO's been around for a while, and Showtime and stuff like that, but that's kind of the, to your point, the way to watch something as soon as possible. Obviously, if you're waiting for the DVD or something, or the Blu-ray 4K, then the show's got to be out. They have to then produce the physical media. Do you guys remember when, this is before I was making content on YouTube, but they had, right before the last episode of New Blood aired, it was like, I don't know, I'm going to make this up a little bit. Maybe that Friday before that Sunday, something like that. And they had this big thing saying like, oh, Monday, we have this big announcement for New Blood. You guys are going to love it. It's going to be great. And at the time, I feel like a lot of people thought, oh, this is going to be the announcement for Season 2 of New Blood. Awesome to hear that. And then we got the New Blood ending, which obviously we know what happened with that. And that Monday then came around, and they're like, great news, we got a physical release. And everybody on social media was just like bashing it so hard, which you guys probably super enjoyed that, being physical media consumers. But I remember everybody online was so critical because they hated the ending, and they're like, that's probably the worst thing you could announce after the way the show ended. Which is, I thought was kind of funny, just because I didn't mind obviously the announcement, but I did kind of expect them to have something more like, oh, this is related to what we're going to be doing in the future, as opposed to being, because you kind of assume everything's going to get a physical release if it's that popular. But that was the announcement that they put out there, and everyone was so angry about it. I started working from home initially, working half day. Yeah, Jada, I think it makes a lot of. I think a lot of people focus more on YouTube when they're like, let me try to kind of not necessarily make a career out of this, but make kind of some progress towards where I want to be with something in the future related to talking about the stuff I want to talk about. I think when they have kind of that moment, like I'm thinking of, I don't know entirely, but I think of like Christian Hannah Horror. I think I've heard him talk about before, where he mentions that he really leaned into YouTube because he's like, I want to take this seriously now. And I think he saw the results he was looking for when he decided to really lean into things with his channel. I sometimes watch Tubi, but only with my friends. Enter my phone. Okay, that makes sense. I haven't probably digested Tubi enough. I feel like the stuff I've watched on there I thought was really great, and obviously it being, I think it's still a free service at this point. Grab that. Is awesome, and I think they have that kind of some surprise sleeper stuff on there. So I definitely I support that. That's a streaming service that you could always have because there's not a reason not to. I'm Gina, by the way. Nice to meet you, Gina. Yeah, I remember that BS. Yeah, Jada, that was... It sounds like even you as a physical collector, you were like, what were you guys thinking as far as that being the announcement that you put out there? It just felt like they weren't very aware of what their audience reaction was going to be. But yeah, it was wild. I watch Planet CH as well. Yeah, Christian seems like a good dude. I don't know him like personally or anything, but he's definitely, if you guys like physical media, like JDev, obviously that's kind of like the core of his channel is covering that kind of stuff, which that's his channel and like your channel are kind of the exposure I get to a lot of physical media stuff these days, I would say. Even if it's not something I like buy myself, it's fun to hear people talk about it and hear their passion about it. So he's somebody I check out for that kind of stuff. We don't need any of these, I don't think. I recommend Low Lives on Tubi. Low Lives. I don't know if I've heard of that one. What's that one about, JDev? There's some decent stuff on there. I think was Tubi that had I don't know if you remember, JDev. Here's kind of a deep cut, but on Cody's channel, he had Joey Sasso on, who was from The Circle, which is a Netflix reality show, which I wound up watching after seeing him on Cody's channel because he seemed like a cool dude. He had a movie that I think I watched on Tubi, which was okay overall, I thought. It was pretty solid. It was just kind of about somebody's life kind of spiraling down, so it was a little bit heavier as far as content goes, but he was the main character. I thought he did a pretty good job. But that's something I remember watching on Tubi. They have a decent horror selection, I think, as well on there that I need to probably jump into. Demon Form 160 though feels like a lot for that. I think we're gonna grab the relic instead. On Amazon, New Blood already has a physical media release when they made that announcement. Yeah, that's the thing. I felt like whether it sounds like you actually saw something, but we kind of all assumed this was something that was going to happen. So it's weird to make that like pre-announce, like you're like, hey guys, something upcoming. I get if you're going to announce it that Monday, but I feel like they built up hype prior to it happening, which was a weird choice to make. We'll pick you. Don't watch a trailer. It's a horror comedy. Okay. Interesting. I will have to check that one out then. I assume you're you saying don't watch a trailer. Maybe the trailer is a little bit too much. Is it like a typical Blumhouse trailer where you end up finding out everything? Hit you with that. I'm halfway through Hatchet 2 at the moment on Tubi. Okay. I haven't watched the Hatchet franchise, Gina. Is that something that, I assume you liked at least partially the first one? And Jade, I don't know if you watched that at all or that series. I've not consumed it, but I think I heard kind of mixed feedback on Hatchet overall. All right, JDev, good talking with you, man. Appreciate you being here in chat, and have a good evening. Should probably block. Never watched any of the Hatchet films. Yeah, I've, as I said, not either, but there's a few of them, right? I'm trying to remember how many are in that franchise. All right, we barely survived that fight. Do we want offering? Yeah, we'll grab it. We'll take the empty cage and sell some stuff. Although, maybe I should have taken the Snecko. I'll send you a voice text about low life. All right, sounds good, JDev. Look forward to. As I said, after streaming, I'll make sure to mark that one down to check out and probably wind up watching. As I said, I haven't really checked out Tubi's catalog, so that's one I'll definitely mark down. Wasn't that keen on the first, but enjoying Danielle Harris in second. Okay. I'm not, like, I haven't seen a whole lot of stuff that Danielle Harris is in. She's in, like, what, the Halloween franchise. Trying to think what else that I know that she's from. But I haven't watched a whole lot of stuff I think that she's in. I obviously know a lot of people love her as an actress. That's fair, JDev. I'm gonna take some damage here. Yeah, I know a lot of people like her as an actress. I don't think there's anything that I personally have watched that I can think of that I know her from. We probably will use that. Yeah, we'll do this. Maybe we'll get the double attack for 2 cost cards. We did not, but I guess that's not the worst. She's in a great Stallone movie called Daylight. I feel like there's so many movies that I just did not watch that I need to catch up on. I'm not familiar with Daylight. Obviously, I know plenty of stuff that Stallone's in. Grab the artifact. Actually, when I started the channel, one of the things I was first going to do was a ranking of the Rocky series because I had just like rewatched them all, and they were kind of fresh in my head. I probably could still do it now, even though I had not watched them since like a year or so ago. But that was one of the things I was like, hey, I could do that as a video idea because I literally just watched these. Don't tell Mom the babysitter's dead. So that's when I remember watching, but I remember like obviously her dying and then the kids like all kind of having to come together. And was she the, I guess, older sister in that that movie? It's been a while since I've seen that, like way back in the day, but I'm assuming she was maybe the oldest sister. Yeah, okay. She reminds me of in The Last Boy Scout. I don't know. Oh, I don't know if I know what The Last Boy Scout is. That a kind of movie is that? I don't think I'm familiar with that one. I'll skip all those. I don't like the OG Rocky as much as others do. That's fair. I had it. Well, I may wind up doing the video at some point, but I'll tell you I had it ranked pretty high because probably partially because it was kind of the first. But I could see it's a little bit dated overall, and if I'm being honest, like 2 and I probably knocked 2 more than 1 because of this, but I feel like Rocky 2 feels like it's just like Rocky 1B. It's kind of the same situation with like Apollo Creed and him. I guess they focus more on his like distraction by all like the fame and stuff like that more than Rocky 1, but I enjoyed Rocky 1 overall, I would say. I have a Rocky Creed ranking on your channel. I have not seen the Creed movies. I when I was gonna do a ranking, I was gonna just do Rocky. I know there's like a bunch of like stuff behind the scenes between like Stallone and like the rights to Rocky that sounds like a lot of dramas there. I like Michael B. Jordan though, so I planned on watching it at one point. I think I had him saved to watch at one point, but I didn't wind up doing so yet. So probably at some point I'll check him out. I'm obviously a fan of like Drago from the original series, so having like his kid or whatever in the second one sounded like a cool concept. Last Boy Scout with Bruce Lee. Okay, I don't know if I've seen that one. Once again, for doing stuff that's video related and for being a big fan for a lot of older movies, I apparently have a lot of watching to do. She swears her head off. I did my. That's fair. That's fair. I'll have to check that one out too. Then is that? I know you said you relate to the character, but is that a film you would endorse too? The Last Boy Scout. Bruce Willis. Okay. Wait, so Bruce Willis and Bruce Lee are in this movie? That feels like an amazing cast. I know Bruce, hopefully he's... It sounds like he's having like a rough time health-wise recently, so... hopefully he's doing as well as you can be. What's with that? Great action film, not Bruce Lee. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I feel like in some ways a lot of Bruce Willis's classics, I don't feel like I indulged in enough growing up. Like, obviously he's like Die Hard or whatever. But I didn't really watch a whole lot of Die Hard stuff growing up. Honestly, I feel like the movie I watched him in that I had like the best time with that I can think of at the moment is like, was it 16 Blocks with him in that? Which was an awesome film. Obviously, he's a little bit older at that point in his career, but I remember watching that one and going, I think I saw that one in theaters too. But that was kind of at the time, I haven't watched it in years, so I'm not sure how well it holds up, but I remember really liking it when it came out. Do I want to face 3 elites? That's kind of a tough choice. It's kind of a lot, but we may wind up losing, but we'll give it a try. 8 times 5, 40. It's not going to kill him. If I make those stronger, it would be 11. So that'd be 44. 14 times 3 is 42. Once again, not good enough. I think we still do this, though, and we just swing 4 times. Actually, I should have planned to do that to kill the last guy, too. 16 blocks is brilliant. Yeah, I thought it was a cool concept overall. As I said, it's been years since I watched it, but at the time I was like, okay, I can dig Bruce Willis even if I haven't watched a whole lot of his stuff. Like, I'm trying to think what else Bruce Willis was in growing up. Like Apollo is one I can think of. Grab that. Sixth Sense, obviously, which I feel like I wasn't in on that one early enough. We'll do that. Have you seen Hostage? That sounds familiar, but I assume I have not, because I don't think I could tell you what that's about. Is it worth a watch? I don't think I've seen it. I'd have to look up to see exactly what it is, but I don't think so. Just do that, probably. Well. Armageddon, yeah, that's another one, I guess, too. A lot of these I feel like are classics, but for some reason they didn't necessarily... Like, it's not stuff I really watched as much back in the day. This dude's doing a ton of damage. Probably drink that. Bring you back. Bruce Willis again is the cop trying to help two kids. He definitely plays the cop role super well. Like, that's definitely his I don't want to say like best like character type, but it feels like that's... He plays kind of like the badass role really well. We'll grab Reaper. Yeah, we'll face the elite. Why not? I'll have to check that one out too. Hostage. Let's upgrade probably. I'm not the best upgrade, but how would you, I guess, talking about Dexter, since that's a topic that I do know a lot, how would you personally rank the original series, or what are your thoughts as far as the various seasons, or what are some of your favorite characters, I'll say? Probably just block after that. Not the best first turn. Maybe I'll be set up for the second turn, hopefully. None of those. $17 times 3, 34.51. That's not gonna be enough. Could be if I use that. Yeah, we'll just do that. Favorite season, Trinity, because of Rita ending. Not so good with Deb. Okay, that's fair. I think a lot of people would agree with you on season 4 being the strongest because of the whole Trinity angle. Did you... So I think a lot of people would be in alignment with Trinity's season 4 being the strongest. Obviously, the ending was traumatic, but I think that's why a lot of people liked it, because it was such a impactful moment. And you didn't love the ending, so you didn't like season 8, you're saying, with how they did Deb kind of dirty with her, I think her blood clot is how they took her out. I can understand that choice. I felt like for as important as that character was to the show, having her pretty much be kind of killed off screen, or like at least killed in not really a way that felt like the character deserved, that probably wasn't the best choice in my opinion. Although I will say I don't hate season 8 as much as a lot of people do. I do agree that, to your point, Deb, they should have done something better for her character, but I think the season as a whole I didn't hate as much as a lot of people hate it. We'll do that. There's definitely parts I don't like, though, because I like Zach as a character I really enjoyed. I think, honestly, I feel like New Blood Harrison, if he behaved like Zach behaved, a lot more people I think would have enjoyed New Blood. But, well, what should we... We'll take that. So I will say, like, Zach, for example, is a character that I thought was awesome to have. Once again, they did him dirty, similar to Deb. I don't really know why they introduced him as a character and then immediately just kind of threw him away, other than the shock value of that. But, yeah, we'll grab that. I've not gotten the feed card that I've been looking for this whole time. But I think Season 8 is not as bad for me personally. I think there's some redeeming parts to it. I love Rita. She's lovely. Yeah, I think some people have a criticism of Rita being kind of, I don't know, not as critical to the plot and like taking Dexter away from the stuff they want to see Dexter doing, which I'm probably mixed on. I didn't really mind. Like, I thought Rita was cool. I know, like, Jada, for example, he's a big Hannah fan. So I think there's different viewpoints on how enjoyable Rita was as a character. I thought she was fine, though. I thought she worked as a character for Dexter. I don't know if you've, like, read the books at all. I've read most of them, and it seemed like she was a pretty effective character overall in the show, too. Not the greatest turn. Don't hate it. Same with New Blood. I just hated the ending. Yeah, it's weird with the original Dexter series. I think at the time, they probably, once again, had like the worst timing where... yeah, we'll go for you. New Blood, or the original series of Dexter ended, I think around the same time that Breaking Bad ended. And because of that, it was a tough comparison having them both on screen, or just both having taken place, when you're like, well, Breaking Bad nailed the ending, and then you have, Dexter driving off into a hurricane as far as how they chose to end that show. So I think in some ways, the time that it came out kind of set it up for a little bit of failure, but I think on rewatch, I was like, okay, I don't hate it as much, especially if you're comparing to New Blood for me personally. But definitely when it came out, I was like, that was not what I was hoping for. We'll just pass there. Don't read books. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to be spoilery, but it sounds like you may not be planning on reading it necessarily, but season 1 and the first book are really the only two that have similarities. Like, the plot points of the Ice Truck Killer are in both. They choose to end season 1 and the first book differently, but beyond that, a lot of the characters and stuff like that are pretty similar. Then obviously, because they ended differently, there's different characters going forward in the book than there are in the show. I thought the show's stronger than the book, so I don't think you're missing out on too much, though, honestly. We'll grab that. Alright, we kind of are dominating this run. We just don't have the feed card that I've been looking for. I don't even know if we're going to get Donu and Deku anyway, but... double potions, maybe? Yeah, we got the time eater anyway. Doesn't matter. So, not getting that achievement done. We'll get the Ascension potentially completed, though. We'll just go right here. But yeah, it's always interesting when they have a book series tied to a franchise, and then they have the show or movie typically come out, and kind of the comparison a lot of people do. I think this is a rare example where the second released item, which is obviously the show, I think excels more than the book did, in my opinion. We'll grab you. There's some other examples of that, though. I'm trying to think. this may be a hot take, but I probably liked Ready Player One, for example, as a movie more than the book. Even though they took some pretty significant changes to the plot, I would say. Or at least like the visuals or like the games they played in that. Did you ever watch Supernatural? So I've seen parts of it. I've seen parts of it, but I didn't like go from start to finish, I would say. I don't know why. Maybe the title Supernatural, I immediately thought of like Heroes, which I did watch all of. And this first season was amazing. The second season, not so much, but double strength. But I've seen parts of Supernatural, but I haven't watched it from start to finish. So I wouldn't necessarily know too much of the actual like plot development or anything like that. Yeah, it's an easy choice. I own them all. All the Supernaturals or Heroes or both. Maybe both. If so, what did you think of Heroes? Because that's one I am familiar with. That's one I haven't been watching forever. I watched it way back in the day. And enjoyed it, but I felt like it kind of... They couldn't figure out how to, like, progress the story after the first season and that. Definitely gonna take some damage this fight. Supernatural, but I liked first. Yeah, that's how I felt too. The first season I thought was great. Like that was definitely one of my favorite shows at the time. And then, like, I don't know what it was. I feel like season 2 happened and they just didn't really know where to take the story. And then like everybody suddenly had powers. Like all these people that I think I remember, they got a little bit crazy with like the powers becoming too widespread at some point. Do we have any shops? No, maybe that was a bad choice to go this way then. So we're not going to grab that. We'll fight the first boss again. What are, Gina, what are a couple of your, I guess, top shows? Supernatural may be one. That may be why you're throwing that one out there. Rewatching Stargate. Have not watched Stargate. It sounds like you probably endorsed that one if you're rewatching it since you own them all. Do that. I don't think we're avoiding this damage here. So I think we just block there. I know when I was talking to JDev, I'll probably plan to do on the channel I think I'm just going to do top 10 shows of all time that I've seen. I think he wanted to do 25, and I'm like, I don't know. I probably can think of 25 shows that would work. When I was making a list, I'm like, actually, I got to like probably 30 or 40, but I may stick to, as far as the video goes, just doing top 10. Supernatural, Stargate, and Farscape. I've never even heard of Farscape. The other two I'm familiar with, but I haven't watched them. The name alone makes me feel like it's also kind of like sci-fi themed, but what's that one is typically about in that show? We'll grab you because we kind of need to block. Yeah. Just build strength here. Yeah, that I have not seen any of those, so maybe worth checking out. Sounds like. I imagine those are all like. I think Supernatural was a pretty long show, in Stargate as well, though. That's the hard part, is like when you want to watch a bunch of stuff and you're like, but I kind of have to pick only one, and then there's new stuff coming out and you're like, well, then I can't go back to the backlog if I'm trying to watch the new stuff. Oh, that stone calendar came in. Hit you, and then full health. I don't hate heavy blade here. It's not upgraded, unfortunately. We'll take the madness. Although against the time meter, maybe not a good choice. We'll take blind. And we'll probably do the lifting and get our strength higher. Yep, sci-fi, Australia-based as far escape. Okay, that may be why I'm not familiar with it, since it's not... Ooh, I don't want to do that, even though I don't have a shop currently. That's probably why I'm not as familiar, maybe, if it's not as US-focused. Glad I picked that up. We'll do that, and we're fully blocked, so we might as well. I'm curious. I'll have to see too if it's a show you enjoy. Maybe I'll look into. Although if it's Australia based, maybe it's not on any local streaming options. I'm not sure. Okay, I'll grab you. Why not? Oh, you already answered. It was on Sky in England. Okay. And Sky, I'm pretty sure, is, to your point, I think that's just British based, or at least not. I don't think it's a US available service, if I remember correctly. I bought off eBay. That works. I think there was something else that was supposed to be on Sky that I was interested in. I think it was a movie that was coming out. Was there a movie coming out with Josh Hartnett where he was like, I think he was on like a plane or something, that I don't know at all really what it was about, but I was like, I like Josh Hartnett as a character. I think we gotta do that. It didn't really help. Yeah, I think we'll just pass. No clue. Yeah, I trying to remember what it was, but I think there was just some clip I saw. He was kind of like the manic Josh Hartnett that we got in Trapped, which I don't know if you've seen Trapped, but I was not a big fan of it. But I love Josh Hartnett. I actually did a review on the movie, but The Faculty was one of my favorite movies. That's sci-fi. It's more sci-fi than horror, but that's one of my favorite movies, and love Josh Hartnett in that. Love Elijah Wood in that. There's tons of like famous actors that kind of blew up after that, or there's even like Usher, who kind of went with the music direction. Jon Stewart, who went the comedy direction. That's not the greatest first turn, but yeah, I'm trying to think what all he's in, but I feel like Josh Hartnett growing up, I super liked, like in what was it called? 40 Days a Night, the zombie one in Alaska. I really like that one. Probably just get that out of my hand. A knee trap on physical to see 30 Days a Night. Yeah. Yeah, that I really enjoyed that movie. I feel like the ending maybe wasn't the best, but the movie as a whole, I feel like I really had a good time with. Trap though, have you seen Trap or oh, you need Trap on physical to see? Okay, so it sounds like you probably have not seen it. I won't spoil it then, but I will say I, as a Josh Hartnett fan, didn't love it personally, but I know some people did like it, so it's not to say that you may enjoy it. I just felt like, I don't know, it didn't feel like it lived up to my expectations without going into too much detail. I know it. Like you've seen Trap. Happy to talk about it if you have then. Take some damage here. Oh, kill count. So you watched Dead Meat probably covering it. I felt like I wanted more of the tension to be there. It felt like it kind of got a little bit goofy with Josh Hartnett's character. I thought he probably did what he was supposed to be doing as far as the direction he was given, but I don't know. I kind of feel like his character got a little goofy. I was hoping there was going to be more time spent at the actual concert and more tension around that, because I feel like that was the strongest part of the film, was where, you know, he was trapped. He was trying to figure out what to do in the situation. And I feel like once they leave the concert venue, it gets a little bit like unrealistic with everything that happens there. You may have to use a potion here. I know a lot of people gave some criticism. I don't hate it, but I definitely agree that it felt like when they were at the concert venue, a lot of that kind of felt like it was intending to just promote M. Night Shyamalan's daughter as a like musical artist, because most of the film was revolved around, hey, let's go back to our seats and let's hear her sing. And there wasn't as much of the actual like story of like what's going on with Josh Hartnett. And also when he runs with that mom at the concert venue, it's like super cheesy, I feel like, when she's like wanting to get the girls together and be friends again. I'll do that. But I think it just had higher hopes because I am a big fan of his, and I do like, I know it was I feel like Shyamalan at this point in time with his career, he's gotten a little bit crazy. Like, I didn't really love Old, for example. I liked, once again, the concept. I think Shyamalan has these really great concepts, but then when it comes down to execution, we get a little bit lost. And I felt like I liked the concept of Trap, but then the execution of it, I'm like, oh, okay, that's what we're doing. So definitely, yeah, it sounds like maybe you agreed then. We'll grab another heavy blade. Go here and lift. But I was happy to see, I don't know if I'd seen Hartnett in anything in a long time prior to that, so I was happy to see him back. It just wasn't the best usage of him, I would say. I don't know if they were also trying to set up a sequel with that film. It felt like the end, he like gets taken away or whatever, and it's just like, okay, are we trying to return to this franchise then? Wasn't super clear on their, if they just wanted to have like a kind of an ending where it's being a little bit, who knows what's going to happen, as opposed to actually wanting a second film. But they definitely set up a potential for a sequel, and I'm not sure they'll wind up getting it. We are not doing the greatest job at finishing these guys off. Are there any films coming out this year that you're looking forward to? I would say. Obviously, it sounds like you may. I don't know. Do you see stuff when it comes out in theater, or do you typically wait till the physical side of things comes out? By the way, are you hyped for anything up and coming? I know I mentioned this at the beginning of the stream. I don't know if you were here yet, but I'll plan to do a review on Sinners. I plan to watch that probably this Tuesday and put out a review of it. I've seen a lot of good feedback on it though, so I'm assuming it'll wind up being a good film. Don't really need to double our strength anymore. I'm trying to think what else maybe interesting coming out later this year. Final Destination hopefully will be a good one. Grab you. I'm not sure what I think about Until Dawn yet. That one's obviously coming out next week, I think. And then as far as like later this year, I was hoping we would get a Saw 11, but it seems like that is not happening this year at least, and who knows if it'll actually wind up happening at all. I think we'll just do that and take some damage. I'm not super hyped for it, although maybe it'll wind up being better than it's got to be better than the last one, but The Strangers Chapter 1 I did not enjoy, and I'm hoping that they can do more with Chapter 2. So I guess in some ways I'm cautiously optimistic that they can present a better sequel to the original film that they did, because that first film felt like they just repeated the original Strangers, but then they made it worse overall. Can we play 4 cards here? I can play you 4. Don't really want to get rid of Pummel, but maybe we just have to. Can't go to... Okay. That's fair. Looking forward to Sinners. Reviews sound great. Yeah, I obviously, based off our conversation, I have a lot to catch up on too. We probably should block here, but yeah, hopefully Sinners. I've seen a lot of good feedback, and I'm thinking that'll probably be a good one. What are your thoughts on Dexter Resurrection? So, probably a little bit mixed. So I'll say, as a general sense, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really happy that Dexter is going to be back once again, as far as Michael C. Hall's representation of him. At the same time, they clearly wanted to end the show when he died in New Blood. Can we finish him off here? They clearly wanted to end the show when he died in New Blood, and they're just... I'm a little bit mixed on their motivation for bringing it back, because, like, Clyde Phillips, I felt like he was ready for Dexter to be done. Michael C. Hall, I think, was also ready for it to be done. So, while I didn't want Dexter to die, they made that choice, and they went up going with it. And then it kind of feels like... I don't know whether it was, like, Michael or Clyde, whatever, but it feels like money probably was presented as saying, like, hey... Showtime and Paramount, we really want to bring Dexter back because this was kind of our cash cow as a franchise. So we wound up being Ascension 2 there, so we'll run it back for the Ironclad, but they wound up choosing to bring it back, and it felt like they didn't stick to their guns as far as this is... Like, I've seen stuff before where Clyde felt, I think it was him specifically, that he wanted the show to be over because he thought Dexter as a character didn't deserve to be alive because he's like done so many bad things. Even though he's a character we're rooting for, and you're kind of presenting him as a likable villain or likable anti-hero, it sounded like the idea of him living was not like sitting well with him, so he wanted to kill him. And that's why he chose to do that in New Blood. Also, as I said, they may have wanted to be done with the character. But then whether it's money or whatever, we're bringing him back. So I don't love the motive behind it. I don't love the authenticity of like the artist, I would say, when it comes to, you know, they were steadfast in this being how they wanted to end things. And while I didn't like it or prefer that, they stuck with that. And now they're bringing him back. And obviously fans are happy to have that, but I would have preferred him just being alive in general, but they chose to kill him and now he's not dead. And I remember watching an interview back around when Comic-Con happened and they had Michael C. Hall. I don't know if it was Variety. Somebody was interviewing him and he was like, oh yeah, it's, you know, it's really cold out there. You never know. And the interviewer like really stuck it to him, was like, no, we talked to Clyde and the showrunners. We confirmed Dexter died at the end of New Blood. And he was like, oh, well, anyway. So it felt like they're trying to like backpedal and be like, oh, this was part of the plan, right? But in reality, we all know that he was supposed to die in New Blood, and he did die in New Blood. So that part I don't love. Having him come back, though, I enjoy Michael C. Hall as Dexter. Like, Dexter's one of my favorite shows of all time. You'll see that whenever I put together my top 10 list. It's going to be interesting having all these characters in season 1, I'll say, because I don't know how familiar you are with kind of the casting updates we've gotten, but, you know, we're obviously going to have Dexter in it. We're probably going to have, you know, Angela, at least at the beginning. We're going to have Harrison. We're going to have Batista back in it. We're going to have all these returning characters. And then we have, what do we have? Neil Patrick Harris. We have, what's his name? David DeSmalkin. We have Kristen Ritter. We have Uma Thurman. We have Peter Dinklage. We have, I'm blanking on his name, but the dude from Modern Family. So we just have all these new characters too, which obviously you need to have for a like next plot point for the season. But I'm a little worried that we have these famous actors and we're like, how are we going to give everybody enough screen time? On top of that, I kind of secretly still hope that there's somebody like Quinn or Masuka. They had Quinn interviewed during the original Sin release, and he didn't say he was coming back for Resurrection, but I feel like he was like, you know, if they want me, I'm all for it. So having like the returning cast, the new cast, and maybe some of the surprise returning cast that we could get, it could get a bit crowded. And I'm worried about, I don't know if you've watched Yellow Jackets. I just did a review on the entirety of season 3. But it felt like some of the prominent actors in that one, like Hilary Swank, Elijah Wood, Joel McHale, you didn't really give them enough time to grow during the season. You didn't give them enough screen time. So I'm a little concerned about having so many famous people. I don't even know. Did I mention Neil Patrick Harris? Like, there's so many people that are going to be in Resurrection that I'm hopeful that there's enough story for each of those characters to make sense and not just be kind of shoved in for a scene or two. So that's kind of my overall thoughts. I'm cautiously optimistic with it because more Michael C. Hall I'm a fan of, and I'm definitely all for it. Shouldn't have killed him off then. Yeah, if they didn't have the last 20 minutes or so, I think a lot of people have this sentiment of New Blood. I could have forgiven a lot of parts that I didn't love about the season. And because like episode 9, I really enjoyed, like, I remember watching it real time. The reviews come out on like IMDb. Episode 9 was like one of the highest reviews of an episode ever. And then episode 10 came out. And previously, I don't know if it's still this way, but the end of season 8, the last episode, was the lowest rating Dexter episode of all time. Well, the finale of New Blood took that over as the lowest rated episode of Dexter of all time. So, killing him off was a poor choice, but they went with it, and now they're kind of backtracking it, which I like because I want him to be alive, but I also feel like, what are you guys doing here? Grab you. Don't love that. Julie Benz had a panic attack when she found out Rita was getting offed. I don't blame her. I mean, she was so integral to that franchise, being on like 4 seasons of it, being at least a semi-main character, I would say. Like after Michael C. Hall and like Jennifer Carpenter, I feel like you could argue that she was like the next prominent character. Obviously, there's other Miami Metro people. But yeah, I can imagine that she wasn't a big fan of that choice. Uma Thurman. Yeah, I'm not. I haven't read too much entirely. I've seen some photos on everybody's role. I think. Who was it? I think Kristen Ritter. I thought I remember seeing like a badge on her in some of the like photos that we got on scene. I'm kind of mixed on sometimes wanting to know what happens and then also doing a channel where I'm talking about it. So I want to share the information with people, but I'm also not wanting to be spoiled. So I've seen some of the on-set photos, and that's where I hope they don't show us any. Like, I want to have some original characters from the franchise, but I don't want to know about it ahead of time. I want to just be watching, like, I don't know, episode 3, then just see, like, Quinn pop up or something. I think that'd be cool, but that's probably not realistic with the times we're in, with everything being pretty much revealed. Everyone's got a phone on their, or camera on their phone. But yeah, Uma Thurman, I haven't seen her in a whole lot recently either. She could be an interesting inclusion. I've heard Peter Dinklage is, like, the big bad. I don't know if that's just like speculation because he was like the first big name that really got announced after Uma Thurman. But curious to see kind of everybody's role and how they fit into the storyline. And also, I hope it makes sense because honestly, with the way things ended in New Blood, I feel like you could probably only take 2 realistic paths if we're trying to make this as like unbelievable or as believable as possible. You have either Dexter is on the run and he's just evading police, or he's been arrested and he has like a court proceeding that he needs to justify himself. From the photos we've gotten, I don't know if either of those are happening. He's definitely being stealthy still, but he feels like he's kind of just out and about, so I'm not sure how the plot's going to make sense yet at this point. He had a decent alibi at the end of New Blood, but then what happened with Coach in that prison cell kind of doesn't really pan out well for him, so I don't know how he's going to get out of things. I've also seen some shots where it seems like he still is like killing people. He had like somebody on his table at one point, I thought. So the hard part is continuing the Dexterness when we're at the point where we're at with the plot, because obviously if you think of Dexter, you think of him taking out bad people, but can he really afford to be doing that when he's like being hunted by all these people? I don't know. I think in New Blood, I preferred these. It made sense they had to do this, but I liked things in Miami with the original series. But, so it sounds like this one's mostly in like New York, but like more city based, because I've seen photos of like Harrison maybe working at like a hotel. I doubt Quinn will be back as Deb is gone. That is true. I mean, he was I think the only way I could see him coming back though is if like Batista calls up Quinn and he's like, Dexter's alive, you need to get out here, and he shows up and he maybe even he confronts Dexter about what happened to Deb. So I think he would be less of like obviously Deb's love interest, and he would be more of like Batista's partner or ex-partner as far as how his like relation to the story. There's one that I'm not sure of, like Masuka. I'm kind of like, how would he make sense? Because he was like the forensics guy. How would he make sense in the plot? So I could see some of the characters being hard to bring back, but I think Quinn could work if you do it well. We don't have any strength cards currently, so let's do that. But you may be right. It may be a challenge to include him. And once again, especially because we have so many other characters that we're trying to balance between. But I know that's probably a long answer, but to summarize things, I am looking forward to Resurrection, and I hope they do as well as they did with Original Sin on Resurrection. Grab that. Go this way. I think we gotta do damage early on against these guys. Could be a problem if we let them hang around. Not the worst. Yeah, we'll just get that out of our hand. But what are your thoughts? Are you looking forward to it? It sounds like probably. And are you going to be watching it live, or are you going to be maybe similar to Original Sin, like waiting until it drops physically, maybe? Maybe not the best choice. Yeah, we may not be surviving this fight. We don't have a whole lot of defensive stuff that we've been playing. Barely. Hung on there. I could see the value in Flame Barrier. Great stream. I've walked my pup. Makes sense. Yeah, appreciate you having here. Obviously, as I said, I'm playing Slay the Spire, but I'm just intending just to talk about fun topics like Dexter and kind of stuff like that. So appreciate you having here, Gina. Hope to catch you again another time. If you need a mod, I'll help. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely open to that. So this is actually just my third live stream ever. I've done videos on the channel, but I'm still kind of getting the whole streaming thing down. But I'll definitely keep that in mind. If you're interested in doing that, I'll look into that as well. So appreciate you being here and love the conversation as well. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. We'll do that. Go this way. Probably can finish him with that. Yeah. All right, what are we trying to do this run? I don't feel like we have a really good deck at this point. We also have not gotten the feed option, nor have we seen Donu Deku. So, kind of limited on options. But at least we're making progress on the Ascension. Good night, it's almost midnight there. Okay, that's fair enough. A little bit later for you then. But appreciate you hanging out. Definitely look forward to having you in the chat in the future as well. Thank you. We will upgrade. Probably the best we can do there. Yeah. We are maybe, well, it depends on how this next turn goes. May not be surviving. We kind of have to kill him next turn. Well, we can't kill him, but we're not gonna die. So we should be okay. Yeah, we'll grab the bell. Sure, we'll have a shop up here. Might as well hit that up. This guy's kind of a pain. We just hit flame barrier. Try to just do some more damage. Having that limit break, obviously I didn't pick it up. I kind of got stuck with it with my starting hand. Is not helpful in a deck that we don't have strength cards. Also, this guy is a pain to get to be vulnerable because of his artifacts, so yeah, we still can't beat him. I think we just block and then we hopefully kill him next turn. Yeah, there we go. Not the cleanest run we have going here. I'm kind of just hoping to get feed, honestly, and then finding Donu Deku. Although, with our build, we may lose to Donu Deku if we don't have good enough stuff. Of course, I can't afford the Lizard Tail. It's not the worst. That's kind of risky. Yeah, I think Brimstone is way too risky for me. Do we want the clay? I mean, it's not like the worst, but how helpful is it? It's kind of pricey too, but we don't really have anything really going for us, so we'll just grab it. Yep, we'll pick that up. We have to do some damage. These guys run away otherwise. I can't do that. I'll just cleave. I can even just finish the other one off. That works. Yeah, limit break being in my hand is kind of a buzzkill because I can't do anything with it. Alright. So we don't have the best hand or synergies, but being only on Ascension 2, I think it's salvageable, but not the strongest. Whirlwind, I like. I don't know if it makes sense for us. We'll just go left. I don't think we're going to be fighting the heart, so, well, I do like the mask, so we'll try to maybe beat these guys. That's kind of the nicest time to play that. So we picked up the relic that gives us strength the first turn, and then it goes away. But since we doubled it, we're going to keep 3 of those, I believe. Yeah. So that's really the only time to get limit break that's helpful when I don't have any other strength cards. Tempted just to drop a whirlwind, but that's only going to deal 24 damage. So, problem is I play Flame Barrier, I don't kill the guy on the left with Whirlwind. I mean, I can maybe get lucky with Boomerang. We'll try that. Of course it'll hit one guy. Not the strongest. Well, this is kind of a pain because this is actually not even the elite. We may be dying this run, which, as I've said, we kind of have a weak hand. The Incense Burner came in clutch there. Yeah, we'll just kill you. Don't think we can beat him on this turn. Yeah, that's rough. Taking 10 damage. We're probably going to lose to the next elite. We'll see. I think we have to hit this potion and just hope that we can do something with it. We just block a couple times. Attack. Yeah. We're probably dying against this guy. Don't hate that. Problem with playing Flame Bearers, I need to hit him, but it's kind of like a scales, so that's a plus. So we'll hit him when he hits me. But then unfortunately we'll be close to losing. Doubling 5 is probably worth it and hoping I can win next turn. But I think the only chance is if I pulled Boomerang, maybe I could get to it. Maybe I should have strike and defended since I'm only gonna... Well, the Incense Burner, I wasn't paying attention, but that buys me another turn. So because of that... Ooh, normally Limit Break I would want later, but since we have this and no other strength cards, I'm kind of thinking about starting with it. Yeah. As I said that, I should have looked at the cards and I picked up Flex, but that's alright. If we upgrade it, maybe we can let it come back too. Alright, love that I just split my attacks on both of them. Definitely helpful to do that. Alright. Sure. Alright, this fight's pretty easy at this point. Once you take out one of them, primarily this guy, the fight's pretty much over. Shockwave? Sure, I can see the importance of that. We have to heal. We hear hanging on. I think we go left. We're not doing the heart, so I'm probably not going to grab any of the keys. Maybe lame to do that, but... You also have no potions, so do I really want to fight an elite? I don't think I do. I don't think we would fare well. Don't hate that relic. What can we upgrade here? Yeah, let's do that. Keep that in my hand so I can do it a few times. Pop it now. Alright, so not really an effective attacking turn, but we kind of set up the next few turns. Although my dexterity is down, so that is not great. We just pop both those, hit you, and then try to finish him off this next turn. Good enough. Since we have that pillow that will get more health, I think we can afford to upgrade something else. Probably Whirlwind. Since this elite does have, or this Act 2 boss does have a few people to fight. I keep having a super boring first turn, but Well, nah, we won't. We'll just play it safe. That's why that card is great. Grab another flex. Maybe we'll draw it turn 1 so we can double that too. And we definitely heal here. I've said this before, but I keep this potion because I may be able to double it up if I get the right relic after this fight. Alright, we didn't draw our double attack, but that's okay. What's up? How's it going? Ooh. Problem is, if I use this, my chance of making him weak going forward is gone. So part of me wants to keep Shockwave. That may be really dumb, but if I hit him with this and then play Bash, I can Shockwave after that and get the full value. I think we'll do that. I want the thorns. Sure, we'll make it a more easy fight with throwing that out there. Well, we'll do that and we'll double. And we'll go with what I was saying, so where now he has no artifacts. So next time Shockwave comes around, I'll definitely play it. And hopefully survive. Oh, he just took Shockwave. Okay, we can't have that. I mean, probably Whirlwind. And then we can't play it, but that's okay. Alright, we probably are not going to actually need Shockwave because he should be dead next turn. What was that, 38? So he's almost not dead. I mean, doesn't really matter. Alright, we kind of have a grasp of this run finally. I think getting the X card really helped. Feed. Okay, so I'm going to take Feed because that's the achievement we're going for. Now, if they don't give me Donu Deku as the final boss, I can't do it, so it's kind of be reliant on that. I don't want this. Giving them strength is a bad idea. I don't hate this. Transforming an upgrade. It's kind of taking a little bit of a gamble. The choker, that may actually be the answer because I'm not cycling my cards, so I'm not really playing more than 6 at any given time. We'll take that. Kind of risky, but of course we didn't get Donu Deku, so can't do that achievement, unfortunately. So for anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, this feed, there's an achievement where it's kind of trying to be punny, I think, where you play feed on the donut boss because you're eating him. And if you play it to kill Donu, you get an achievement. So it's kind of RNG if you get both that card and that boss, which we only got the card, so won't be doing it this time. Because of that, maybe we'll just kind of fly through the right side here. Well, not the most exciting hand, but we're set up pretty well. This guy's a pain to deal with as the Ironclad because pretty much everything we do is an attack. I mean... You're not seeing the game. Oh. Has that been happening this whole time? Oh my word. Thank you for letting me know. It's been off this whole time. I've had it hidden this entire time. Was not paying attention. Thank you for calling out. Actually, I've been chatting with a few people and nobody has mentioned that, but I guess a lot of people were just talking as opposed to playing Slay the Spire. Hopefully it pops up now. Wow. Well, I appreciate you calling that out. I think that's been off the entire stream. The conversation must have been real good. I guess. Appreciate you saying that. I don't know why I did not click to throw that on. Wow. All right. Well, appreciate you saying it. As soon as you said it, I knew immediately where to check, but I did not. Well, this will be an interesting stream. Sorry for anyone watching the VOD back, because it's probably just me saying things about the game and you hear the audio. So, apologize for that. We'll just go with that. We have the mask, we'll just get gold. Well, I feel a bit silly, but that's all right. Yeah, thanks. So, for folks who aren't aware, this is Slay the Spire. If this is the first time you've seen this all stream, that should not have been that way. But yeah, all right. Well, thank you for letting me know. I at least am showing it now, but in fairness, I think most people were chatting about not Slay the Spire. So there's that. I mean, at this point, we might as well pop that. We'll use that on you. Probably go this way so we can go to the shop. Play everything there. All right. Play that. Probably should have played Pummel first. Yeah, it's all right. I don't know if this overly matters. Yeah, we'll go with that. We'll heal here. Just avoid the elites, honestly. I don't think we need to fight them. We'll pick up the top. Transform Madness. We get the... Okay. All right. Let's play that. He's definitely not going to die this turn. That card we swapped out that transform with doesn't really help us here. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to feed here. I could play that and make it so I can. Is that worth it? I'll do it. Yeah, we'll just take the safe route and upgrade here. Maybe I could have just killed them all first with that multi-strike. Not the worst. Probably that. All right, so we're facing the time meter here. Guess we'll just double. And to save cards here, we'll also probably drink the artifact. Why not? Honestly, I think we can just dump those. That was kind of a waste to do that. I don't think I'm gonna... Oh, I'll just attack him there. Save 2 cards for the next turn. Could hit both of these. Kind of want to save Pummel though. Not the greatest, but we're still doing all right on health. All right, he's about to heal, so I think we just sit on that and let him heal. Okay, yeah, he's pretty gone at this point. So didn't get that achievement knocked out, but we progressed the Ascension with Ironclad. We can switch over. Let's do maybe one more run. I'll probably not do as long of a stream today. But especially since we weren't showing the screen, I want to do one more. And we'll run one with the defect. So a little bit different build style with him. And we'll do Ascension 2 since that's where we're at with him. And there's one achievement tied to getting your focus up to 25, I think. So if it makes sense, we'll try to do that one. Max HP, it's kind of a safe choice. Not a whole lot of rest locations. I think we'll go this way and go right. Okay. There. Ball lightning. We'll go for probably try to go for orb related things. Can't really afford to lose health, but I think we'll do that and try it at least. I don't hate this potion. I'll probably just grab that and run with that. Okay, pretty simple fight. Grab that so we can heal after every fight if we play that. Okay, this guy can be a challenge, especially since we play a lot of skills. I think we have to dual cast though there. I think we just kind of bank on him dying next turn and we do that. Cool-headed, sure. Probably heal. We're a little low on health. Okay, we should be fine after that. Don't really need any of those. We'll go this way, give us options. Do we want to fight the elite? Sure. Do I want every block card in my hand? Not really. We'll pop that this time to try to not hang around and fight them too long. Okay. Once you take out one of these guys, it gets a lot easier. Definitely once you take out two, but... Get another one of those. Rest here again. Haven't gotten anything to increase our focus, so not really doing that well yet. Hopefully we get something. Okay, so he's gonna break into 2 here. Don't hate that. Upgrade dual cast, make it free. We'll find another elite, why not? Yeah, we'll wake him up. Not the greatest turn that turn, just blocks and strikes. I don't hate FTL. It's kind of just a free, like, cycle through. Doesn't necessarily work for my build, but it's not a downside. Zap's free now. Probably block here. Not the greatest turn. We'll do that and just play heavy defense. So we should be fine against this guy, although as I said, I do want to try to get that focus, but we haven't gotten any cards to help increase focus thus far. Probably didn't need to do that. Yeah, electrodynamics. Normally I like to roll with that. Do we want to keep stuff in our hand, or do we want... I think we'll just go double potion. It's normally easier. Okay. Dump that. Grab Cold Snap. Alright, so we got Cursed. Let's go left. Would have liked to get that electrodynamics that turn. Pop it now. Would like to play that self-repair too, honestly. We'll just finish him. Man, I'm getting nothing focus related. Don't love that. We'll pick you up so we can get more potions. I would have liked that, but that's alright. We'll dump the curse, even though it kind of helps me. Go for you since he's not protecting you this turn. He is now, though. That's the downside. Maybe pivot over to him now. Okay, we're not doing the best damage, but at least we're hitting them both now with the lightning. Yeah, I think we can afford to use that on you. There we go. We do get finally something focused, but it's only going to be 2, so it's not going to get us to 25. Let's see what we can upgrade. Think we'll hit the elite first. Yeah, pretty much just play everything here. Sure. That is a pretty awful hand. Just playing a bit defensive, which doesn't work against this guy because he starts getting too strong for that. So let's start trying to hit him. Alright, he should die next turn. Although we're taking some damage after that one. Stone calendar is nice. We'll upgrade because we can heal the next one. Yeah, we'll just get more block. We don't have a whole lot of blocking things other than the frost. Here we will heal. It's a nice relic. Yeah, we'll swap those. Probably overblocked with that one, but puts the lightning at the front so we can have that take effect immediately. Okay, this fight's pretty over now. You need the mirror. Yeah. I think what I really need is the, what's it called? Consume, where you lose an orb slot, but you gain focus. I believe I've heard that even if you have no orb slots, it still counts as your focus going up. So it's kind of an easy way if you can hang on in a fight long enough to get that. Obviously, if you also increase your orb slots, it makes it so you can still do both. But we're going to upgrade because we have the potions, so we can kind of afford to be a little aggressive. Yeah. Just cycle stuff through here. I don't think we need to use either of those just yet. Play that to get that out of my hand. It's not going to help us, but it kind of just sits there otherwise. Oh, no, you're good. No worries. Not any worse than my screen sharing debacle, so... we'll do that, and then we can hit that one. Play everything there. Oh, we got that stone calendar. Alright, he's going to be hitting me for a lot probably here. 40. Which is most of my health. But I'm blocking most of it too, so... Blocking all that one. So slowly fighting this guy, which is not the best way to do it. We have plenty of block though to hang around for a bit. We should probably try to kill him this turn though. Yeah. Alright, he's dead. Not the cleanest fight, but not the worst either. Second, I don't think I think maybe I've had Fairy in a bottle twice one time. Okay, another increase of focus. Doesn't get us to 25, but that's alright. Also, just what I was talking about with gaining orb slots to counteract consume. So now if we get consume, it will be a good opportunity to get that achievement. Mostly fine. Yeah, we blocked it all. We need that electrodynamics against these guys. There we go. So they're getting hit for 20. He's not even attacking me, so it's not really helpful versus him. We need to block. Yeah, we'll take that too. So we should be good this turn if we can do any damage to him. Cool. We'll upgrade. I definitely need to get consume here though. Because the shop to my right. Can't go to both of them though. I think we'll go right and see what we get. Nothing here. I do like that relic. Maybe we'll get rid of a strike. That's about it. Not really a great shop visit. Having that thread and needle is nice for the extra block, that's for sure. Okay. I think I'm going to pick a consume, even though if I was playing this legit, defrag is what I would go for here. But for the sake of trying to get that achievement, let's see if we can... Well, we're not going to get against this guy. That only goes... He only fights for 5 turns, so... Won't happen here, but maybe we can find somebody that can hang around for a longer amount of time. Okay, take some damage there, unfortunately. There. I think we're getting up there with our numbers, just not going to be quite high enough. We'll grab that. All right. If we upgrade consume, I think it makes it 3. Yeah, so we can try to get there faster. But we have to fight an elite no matter what. Might as well do it with more health. This fight kind of drags, so honestly, this may be one that I don't really try to do it against, but I could see it kind of naturally happening. Although the damage I'm going to be taking may not make it sustainable. Problem is that if I play that, it's going to decrease over time, so not necessarily the smartest move. I don't know if I can really afford to play consume here. I think we kind of have to play electrodynamics. Then we at least hold off everybody. We could play consume, I guess, but or bias cognition here, but yeah, I guess we're probably not going to try to get it against this guy because it's be kind of tough. But we lose a focus every turn, so that's kind of the reason it's hard to use that necessarily and have it work out. We're just going to block here. Yeah, this guy is pretty much toast now. So we have a good build, but we can't necessarily... We have to make sure we don't kill anybody. Yeah, that's the hard part. If you're putting electricity instead of frost, it makes it tough for them to still be alive at the end. Honestly, the mirror would be nice to use on the consume. This may be a fight you can do it in. Although once again, I kind of want to play electrodynamics against them. Yeah. Hit everything power card, yeah. Yeah, this thing, it's really good against this fight, but I kind of want to try it here, so maybe we try to just survive. I don't know, problem is maybe I'll try to kill some of them back and forth, so that way they're just not all dead at once. So if I don't use electrodynamics, I should be okay with that. Alright, we need to try to cycle through here, though. There we go. Get some block, try to survive. Because the problem is if I try to do this, I could have pretty low health after this fight, which is going to be tough. I'm also apparently have the bronze scales now, so that's going to make it even more of a challenge. Maybe I should have waited to use that until my orb's grown, because inserter is a thing. Yeah, that probably would have been smarter. We'll use that. I guess there's not a downside to using that. As long as I play consume, I keep it like up going forward. I think we'll just sit on that. So we're just going to continue to play block stuff and stay alive, especially since we're going to get more and more of the orb slots. As long as they don't all die the same turn, we should be okay to get it eventually with this sequencing. Oh my, I forgot about the stone calendar. I don't know if I can do that with the stone calendar. Oh man. Well, maybe we can do it against the final boss. That may be the only shot we have, because I completely forgot about the stone calendar. Don't hate mummified hand. Yeah, my build is we kill them too effectively. This guy could be possible against, but he's also somebody you can't really jack around with because he hits you for like 30. We'll see. Maybe we'll try because he does have so much health, but I have kind of already thrown out things that do a lot of damage. Yeah, we'll semi-try it in this fight. Yeah, right. I gotta make sure my build isn't too good. Problem is I'm gonna take some damage here if I screw around too much. I need to get that. I need to get that lightning out of there. I'm really tempted just to dual cast it now, but then it's gonna deal even more damage. We'll do that and then play that. Okay. I think we may be okay here because that's gonna hit him for 50. Problem is he's hitting me for a lot, but I think I survive it all anyway. Okay, stop doing that though. The thorns kind of make that backfire a bit. Okay, he's hit me for a lot of damage, but we're probably okay. Except for the multi, the thorns. Don't love that. I think I'm going down too fast, too. With having played that power card where I'm losing one every time, I need to get consumed a lot. Also, that's starting to, his attack's starting to stack. Pass, I guess. We'll just skip that. Yeah, the cognitive focus is probably a good finishing thing to use. I would agree that's probably the smarter approach. Because then if you drag the fight out, it's not like your time's on your side if you don't play the... Okay, he's starting to hurt though, so I don't know if I can really afford to do it anyway. I think this next attack's gonna be like insanely 23 times 8. We may need to end this fight. Is it too late to do that? $36. It's not enough. I think we need to abandon ship. That's not gonna be enough either. Oof. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Well, we had to get out of that fight. He kept getting stronger. Not the worst. Need to cycle through my hand fast, that's for sure. Problem is if I draw at the wrong time, it costs 2, you could kind of pass it by. I guess we can heal. Maybe we should have gone to question marks and maybe gotten a shop potentially, but this is another guy you can't really hang around against. We'll see. He keeps getting stronger. I guess a lot of people do, so it's hard. The stone calendar makes it tough because you can't face somebody really weak and have the fight last that long, because the only way you could have done that is if you played those little blob guys and you had stone calendar hit when one of them's like still recharging, so it kind of makes it so it got through that. I think we play this fight out a little bit and see how it goes. A duplicate potion would be nice too, so we could play consume twice. That would be super helpful. Or you draw it this turn, like I just did. So I think we're probably just going to try to defeat this guy. Yeah, we'll just go at him. I think the boss is my best bet, because the stone calendar could kind of hit him at an awkward time. I don't know if he gets stronger in phase 2. I don't really remember if he does. But this guy is gonna be a problem eventually here, so he needs to be killed quickly. Yep. I keep getting to like the mid-teens on progress there. he is dead that turn. Let's heal. Sure. Yeah. All right, we'll heal. We can maybe... We have the 2 Farina bottles, so I may just wind up dying if I try it, but we can probably... That's a good first one to draw. We can probably afford to take this a little bit slower. Maybe I should be popping that first. It's hard to tell half the time if it's worthwhile. Okay. Yeah, maybe we'll try to get the stone calendar to take effect this first half of the fight. And I'll wait to play my power card. Well, defrag. Problem with defrag is going to make him stronger, but maybe I just accept that one. So we'll probably be a little risky here with the bottles and trying to get that that trophy done. Tempted to play Electro to finish those guys off. Maybe I'll do it here, because at least they'll be gone now. So now I just have to focus on this guy. I think now we kind of go a little slower in fighting him. Do that. Okay. Fully blocked. He's got some strength with the power cards we played, but not enough, I think, to overtake the amount of block we're getting with the Frost. 32. I can deal with that. I think we'll be okay. The problem is he's going to keep... But he does heal every time, too, so there is that. Do that to kind of cycle through. No. I mean, if I get to 20, then I can play Biased, and I immediately get it, so... If I didn't have the block achievement, we definitely would be pretty close to getting that. We'll skip on that. Yeah, I think we're pretty set here, because he has a second phase, even if he somehow dies in this first phase. Yeah, this guy really, if you don't play power cards, his strength is pretty ineffective. And when you have an insane amount of block, it makes it even better. We're close. I think I wait one more turn around, though. I think we wait, and then we can get it on this next one as soon as we get... both consume and biased drawn. So just skip on that. Well, got them both. There we go. Now he can be finished off. So we're going to start throwing actual attacks at him now. Sure, let's keep going. Why not? So at this point, there's like really nothing you can do to screw this up. You're pretty much in an infinite loop almost with how much block you're getting. I mean, if you took 27 turns and you didn't play consume, then yeah, you would eventually run into a problem. But other than that, you have enough focus to pretty much take him out of me. Like, he's gone this turn even if I don't do anything. I'll just skip and he's done. So clearly you can see why orbs in an orb build are really effective with the defect. They're really defective, if you want to say. So yeah, we got that achievement done. I think the feed one, other than the Ascensions, is all I have really left to do. So that's kind of cool. Let's see, we're at 3, 5, 3, and 2 on Ascension. So probably end the stream here, but next time I'll probably kind of focus on Ascensions. Maybe I'll go back to trying the feed and just seeing if we can get kind of the random luck of getting that with the Act 3 boss to get that achievement. But other than that, it's just progressing on the Ascensions, which you only have to do with one character. But I'll probably bounce around because, let's be honest, it's going to be just a matter of time before I get that one. So that's Slay the Spire for today. I will say again, apologize for, if you're watching this back on the VOD, I'll probably put a pinned comment, but there's not going to be gameplay you can see for the first like couple hours because we were chatting and I was playing but didn't have it on screen. So sorry for that, but it was a good conversation either way, talking about different shows and movies as well. So definitely look forward to doing another stream with you guys and having more conversation take place there. So I said this at the beginning, but as far as content for the week, we have The Last of Us Episode 2 drop tonight. I'll probably do a short on that. Maybe I'll wind up dropping that tonight. We'll see on timing. It's either going to be tonight or tomorrow probably. And then Sinners, I'm looking to see this week, and we'll look to do a review on that. Looking forward to that. Seen a lot of good news with that movie, so hoping to see that it turns out to be a pretty solid film. So that's kind of what's to be expected this week, and maybe some other random stuff thrown in there, but that's as far as planned stuff that I'm looking at for this week. So either way, if you're watching this back on the VOD, appreciate you for sticking through things or jumping into this and watching some gameplay. So yeah, thanks for being here, and look forward to future streams with you guys. Thank you.